starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, welcome everyone to today's webinar. My name is Matt. I'm the founder of Q4 Launch. I'm excited you guys are along for the ride with us today as we dive into our product launch for our guest lifecycle automation. I'm excited to bring you this content today, and I'm sharing my webcam with you since we didn't pre-record this. Mostly going to be looking at the screen today, but wanted to share my webcam with you as well. I'll tell you, this is something we've been working on for over a year at Q4, something we're really excited about. Had it all slated to launch right before we were slating to launch this product around March 15th. And we all know what happened around March 15th. Coronavirus happened, and we decided probably heading into that season when guests weren't arriving, that it probably wasn't the ideal time to be launching a guest lifecycle automation product. So now with so many of our destinations starting to see guests arriving and traveling again, we're excited to connect with you and dive into our launch today. If you follow our webinars on a regular basis or our videos, today's going to be a little different. We're going to share some great education with you as it relates to this, but today's really a product demo or a product announcement, if you will. We're not going to have a real deep dive in the demo, but share more of like what we're thinking about with this product. So a little bit of a different, definitely going to be heavy on the education side. And whether you have any interest in the product at all, you're going to learn a lot about guests and behavior and so forth as we move throughout today. So just sharing that with you so that you understand that it is a little different than our usual education session. But with that, let's dive into our content together here. So let's start by defining what is the guest life cycle and really looking at what the definition of a life cycle is to begin with. Many of you, if you went to business school, you probably heard this term at some point, but a pretty common business concept that things go through life cycles. But according to Merriam-Webster, which is a great place to start, a life cycle is a series of stages through which something, such as an individual, culture, or manufactured product, passes during its lifetime. And in today's instance, in much of our work, we're looking specifically at the guest life cycle, the life cycle your guest goes through in planning their trip, booking their trip, arriving on their trip, departing their trip, and then coming back and hopefully staying with you again. So we're going to look at that life cycle your guest goes through and look at some cool ways we can market to guests to increase their experience and help you make more money from each guest as well. So that's what we're diving into, kind of what we're thinking about and what has driven this. As part of that, if you follow us on a regular basis, and I mentioned this in the little teaser we put out on it, you've come to know and come to follow us for hearing about education, hearing about what's going on, what marketing changes are happening, what's going on with Google, what email marketing strategies do you need to be using. And primarily, we have focused on helping you grow your business by increasing the number of transactions. And that's, when we think about it, there's really these two big mechanisms we have to grow our business. We can increase the number of transactions, or we can increase the transaction value. Because those at a very, very simplistic level in your business, transactions times average transaction value equals your revenue. So most of our time as an agency has been spent around increasing the number of transactions, aka the number of bookings we work with you to do. And there's lots of tools we use to do that. A better website is a great tool to increase the number of transactions. A better logo, better brand, better identity, great opportunity to increase the number of transactions. Email marketing, search engine optimization, pay-per-click marketing, social media marketing, all wrapped around helping to increase the number of transactions. And we have spent some time helping you increase the value of each transaction as well. Things talking about revenue management. How do we manage our rates more carefully to be able to increase the value of each transaction? But we've never really looked at that time between booking and experiencing. If you follow us on a regular basis, you're probably sick and tired of hearing me talk about the 5 stages of travel, but it drives so much of what we think about that I'm going to talk about it again. And in the 5 stages of travel, we talk about dreaming, planning, booking, experiencing, and remembering. When in reality, those are 5 big picture stages, but there are smaller stages that exist within each of those stages. And we think there's a tremendous opportunity to increase the value of each booking that we're driving for you. So putting our own travel word on the business word transaction, increasing the value of each booking to help you grow your business. So yes, we want to keep helping you increase the number of bookings you're getting by all the great strategies we've continued to use to do that. But we also want to come alongside and help you increase the value of each booking. And this is so key, because without increasing the number of transactions, you still have an opportunity to grow your business. You know, some of our customers tell us, or some of our prospective customers tell us, I'm as busy as I want to be. I don't need any more bookings. I just wish this, or I wish that. I wish I didn't have to spend so much time in marketing, or I wish each booking was worth more, or, you know, they fill in that blank with their own I wish statement. But today we're going to talk about some opportunities to increase the value of each of these bookings, each of these transactions, and along the way, help you grow your business. And of course, through all of that, help increase guest satisfaction as well. Skipped ahead, looks like I forgot to add this slide. So we'll touch on this one briefly here. And this is that marketing works really hard to increase transactions. We talked about this, kind of jumped ahead of myself, not just from a slide perspective, but from an actual presentation perspective, because marketing comes together to really work hard to increase those transactions. And much of our work has been focused on that, but we have a tremendous opportunity to increase the value of each of those. And as we think about increasing the value of each of those, many of you may have heard a speaker talk about the other wallet at a travel conference. And most of us are focused on the lodging wallet, right? I mean, that's what we do as a group. Q4 launch, we help our customers in the lodging category provide housing, right? I mean, provide lodging for people's vacations. That's at the core, as well as business travelers, but heavily on the leisure side. That's a big part of what we focus on. When in reality, lodging only makes up about 26% of the average travel budget, which statistically, according to this statistic from the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Expenditure Survey in 2017, that's a mouthful if you want to try to say that sometime. But according to that survey in 2017, the average family spent $4,700 each per year, and the 26% spent on lodging is actually skewed lower due to those who reported $0 being spent because they stayed with friends and family. We know the people staying with friends and family is not our target market. Those that are staying in accommodations is our target market, but they're staying in paid accommodations is our target market. So in our target market, that 26% number is probably actually higher. We know it's higher. We can't get to a real number, but that's what we're looking at. And what that means is the other wallet consists of more than likely 50% of the overall travel budget that people are spending. And we're not doing anything to tap into that part of their budget or necessarily doing anything to grow their booking value with us. Once they've made their booking, we've finished essentially trying to sell to them in most cases, when in reality, there's a tremendous opportunity to sell to those people. So we want to introduce you today to the anticipation stage. Research shows, there was actually 2 different studies done that showed that the anticipation stage is actually the happiest stage of travel. And if you think about your own behavior, looking forward to something is actually the happiest part of travel. And I grabbed this great quote from Winnie the Pooh here, and he said, "Well, what I like best," and then he had to stop and think, because although eating honey was a very good thing to do, there was a moment just before you began to eat it which was better than when you were, but he didn't know what it was called. And in reality, what Winnie the Pooh is experiencing here is the anticipation of diving into his favorite honey pot, right? And getting into that honey. And many of you think about those times when you're anticipating that upcoming vacation and thinking about that and what that looks like, and you're bragging about it on social media to your friends and everything else. That anticipation is the happiest stage. For our vacational customers with us today, the kids aren't screaming, right? Your customers' kids aren't screaming on the way to the beach or the way to the mountains yet. It hasn't rained on that perfect parade, that perfect vacation. It hasn't rained yet. Things haven't gotten canceled yet. All these things that are happening, it's perfect in the anticipation stage. You didn't have a fight with your spouse the night before your anniversary trip or your significant other. Like all these things, everything's perfect in this anticipation stage. Yet for most of us in the industry, we're not doing any marketing. We're marketing to people in the dreaming and planning stage, and we're marketing to people in the remembering stage, but in the anticipation and in the experiencing stage, we're really not doing marketing to those people. And as a part of that, we're missing a huge opportunity. And that's what we want to help you solve today, is meeting your guests in the anticipation stage with a focus on increasing the value of each of those bookings. So with that, we're going to dive into and introduce you to our guest lifecycle automation. So what our focus has been with this is to help drive more revenue from each guest, from each booking that we're delivering to you. And we have identified 14 different touch points to really go after our guests from a messaging perspective. And this is right message, right customer at the right time. This is not, do not confuse this with an email newsletter that goes out to your email database. Not at all. This is designed to go to the right message, the right guest at the right time. And what we found, of course, if I'm planning a trip and I'm expecting to arrive somewhere a week or 2 weeks from now, I'm much more likely to interact with that property or that brand's content than I am if I was there 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago. So the open rates, the click-through rates, the engagement rates on this type of messaging, this type of email marketing is way higher than it is on traditional email marketing, newsletters, or campaigns as you might think about them. So we've identified these 4 major parts of the lifecycle automation: pre-arrival, arrival, departure, and rebooking. And then we've identified touch points within each of these. Now, these touch points are just some of our initial ideas. This can be customized. We've had some of our early conversations with people about this. They said, oh, can I do this? Can I do this? Can I do this? Chances are the answer is yes. You just have to look at those things. Like, can we trigger off of that, or can we get the information we would need to trigger something off of that? But if we can gain the information, if we can gain arrival date, guest name, room name, birthday, anniversary, those types of pieces of information, we have the opportunity to be able to set up automated triggers that goes to the right guest with the right message at the right time. And that's what lifecycle automation is really all about, to be able to deliver that better guest experience and help you increase revenue at the different stages of travel. So a lot of information. We're going to dive into this with a high-level overview of it today. So first and foremost, let's look at this pre-arrival. What we want to do here is increase our guests' anticipation, because as anticipation increases, willingness to spend more money increases as well. So we often say, or I would say, ask yourself this question: what 5 things could a guest add to their stay which would enhance their stay, make their stay better, make their stay longer, and help you create more revenue out of each of these stays? So here's just a few things to think about: a VIP package or an other themed package, romance, adventure packages, kids activities package, something they could add to their stay. And I know, and we heard this too, many are like, oh, well, packages don't work, or people don't book packages very often. And the reality of that situation is that usually when the process of searching and booking for accommodations is a bit overwhelming. There are more options of where to stay literally than there have ever been before in the history of mankind. Due to the growth of Airbnb and the Airbnb-preneur that has created, we have more options of where to stay than we have ever had in the history of the world. So it's a bit of an overwhelming process. So typically we see people just want to make that booking and then they want to be done, right? They're a little bit exhausted by the process. They just want to be done. So they're not booking the package. They're not buying the add-on that your system may or may not allow you to sell in this checkout experience, in the booking experience. But from what we have seen, most systems do not have a good way for you to go back and add something to your stay, to be able to go back and add to your existing thing. So you've gotten over that hurdle as a consumer of, whew, I just got to pick some place to stay. I picked my place to stay. Now what? And then people go into, and I'm actually planning a trip right now. So I'm going through this myself right now. I'm living this every day. Planning a trip, planning a guy's trip to play golf and go hiking and mountain biking in Asheville, North Carolina. And holy smokes, the trip was 8 guys, then it was 3 guys, then it was 6 guys, now it's 4 guys. And trying to find a house to meet these needs of this ever-changing group and changing location based on priorities, it was overwhelming. And this is what I do for a living, so I know a lot more about it than most people, and I was overwhelmed and exhausted. All I wanted to do was find a house, get it booked, and move on. I did that. I got it. I found the house, booked it, and I have moved on. Now, as a group, we have moved into the planning part of the activities that we're going to do. Now, I haven't heard from the vacation rental manager that I booked my stay with, right? I haven't heard a word other than a confirmation email. I haven't heard a word, and that's probably the same message, the same experience your guests have. Now, I'm not arriving for more than a week, so I don't expect to have heard anything at this point as a consumer. That's how I've been trained. I shouldn't hear anything until probably the day before or so with check-in information. When in reality, right now, my friends and I are planning what we're going to do in Asheville. Where are we going to play golf? Where are we going to go mountain biking? Do we need to rent bikes? Are people bringing bikes? We're planning all this, and we're spending money on all these things by making reservations right now. And this is a great opportunity for that vacation rental manager or that hotelier or that innkeeper to be marketing to me as an upcoming guest, because I'm also next week staying at a hotel with my wife for her anniversary. So same scenario, made 2 bookings for next week, one with my wife for her anniversary, one with some guys for a guy's trip on the weekend. And no, I don't want to hear you judging me about my marriage and why I'm doing both of those trips in the same week. Just kidding. My wife's going to visit her family, so that's why we're doing both those in the same week. But that's the opportunity, right? Whether you're an innkeeper or a hotelier or a vacation rental manager, this opportunity exists for all of us in the travel industry. It's just a little bit different, right? Based on our focus and our target area. But looking for those things we can upsell to the guests. Some great other opportunities: early check-in, late check-out, tours, activities, spa, massage, other profit centers you might have on your property, stay enhancements, things you can add to your stay upon arrival, flowers, grocery delivery. You know, I'm sure things are coming to your mind right now, but answer this question for yourself. What 5 things could a guest add to their stay? And as you're thinking about those things, make sure that you're thinking about high margin items. I was talking to one of our customers at a conference a couple of months ago about this. Obviously, it had to be a couple of months ago if we were at a conference together. But I was talking to her about this, and she said, "Oh, well, you know, I have this, but I only make $10 on it, so it's really not worth the hassle." And I was like, "Well, why are you selling an item you only make $10 on? Like, that doesn't make any sense. If you're going to go through the work of adding that as an upsell, make it something that's profitable for you. $10 is not worth the headache of doing that. So choose your things carefully." As part of our product, we have also created a way to be able to add these things to packages. So you're actually seeing a screenshot of that form on the right-hand side. I took a screenshot of one of these embedded on our customers' websites. So we provide this form to you. We will embed it on your website. Whether you use our website or not has nothing to do with it. Regardless of what website you use, this is form code our system generates, and you can embed this on any website out there. So you can embed this form code. We'll create the form for you and then embed that form on your site. And then the email campaigns we send out to promote these things will point people to this form. This isn't a form that's just out there on your website for everybody to see. It only makes sense for people that are arriving soon or on property now. So think about those things. And we've taken care of that for you. We've put all this information in here to make this very easy, because we know different systems handle this in very different ways. So we've made this as easy as possible by providing the actual mechanism for someone to add something to their stay here. We're not actually processing payment for you. Something else we've heard is that, you know, I'd rather just be able to add that to their stay and process it all as one transaction. So we're not processing payment at this point. Right now, we're just gathering the information from the guest on this form about what they want to add to their stay. And we have their email, their reservation number, their name, and then we can add that to their folio, if you will, to use a hotel word, for their upcoming stay. So that form comes out, fills that out. That form will get emailed to you, and that form will also be stored in a database. So 2 things there, right? I mean, you're selling something to someone. You're making more money. You have to do a little bit of work as a part of this process. But you will get an email with that form completion and then email address of the guest, the reservation number, as well as the name. You will also have all of those stored in a database. So at the beginning of every morning, you could just go in and check that database for anybody who has added this to their stay and find that. So one of the feedback we got from somebody early on was, "Oh, I don't think my staff is actually going to see that email and read it and do anything with it." And I was like, well, that's a training issue. If your staff can't do something with an email they find. But to solve for that, we created the database to actually store all these submissions as well. So you can have that as a fail-safe there if your staff struggles to keep up with email coming in. I certainly understand it's difficult. All right, so let's take a look quickly at the arrival life cycle here as well. First, some of the great messages here: a welcome message and an introduction to on-property amenities. This is great because it gets people, you know, you've just arrived or you're arriving today, have this welcome message and an introduction to on-property amenities. And a great part about doing that is being able to feature any of the on-property profit centers that you have and make it easy to make a reservation or add it to their stay or purchase that. So again, going back to that form I just showed you, or some other mechanism you might have, like for example, a spa. You might have the ability to make spa appointments on your site, pointing them to be able to do that. Also encouraging them, and some of these can be combined into multiple messages in the same offer, but include a social sharing incentive and a hashtag to use. You know, that old concept, birds of a feather flock together. We know that our guests tend to flock together from a social circle perspective. So encourage them to share their stay on social media and use a hashtag that you provide to them. And through that hashtag, you can actually monitor who's using your hashtag, and maybe you give away some free incentive, some branded swag or something like that. If they complete some social media challenge or share something on your stay, or maybe you just encourage them to do it with no incentive. People will absolutely still engage with you on social media. And then an email to extend your stay, right? Your first day there, maybe your second day there, depending on how long your average stay is. Thinking about, I've been on those trips. A few years ago, my wife and I went also to Asheville and stayed at the Grove Park Inn. And I was like, oh man, and they actually did this. Like the day after we checked in, we got an extend your stay offer from them. And I absolutely checked to see if we could take advantage of it and stay. Unfortunately, we couldn't at that point, but had we been able to, I definitely would have taken advantage of that offer to be able to extend your stay. Now, our system at this point can't look into your reservation system and actually see, is the room that person's in available? That would be really nice. But we have customers on probably 50 or 60 different property management systems across our customer base. That number might have been a bit high, but it's a lot. As I think about it, it's a lot. So to code that to work across all of those would have made this a much greater effort, a much more expensive product. So what we're doing here is just saying, hey, we'd love for you to stay longer. Contact our front desk or go to our website to see if your room or your vacation rental or whatever is still available the next day. So we're trying to put that call to action to get them to start thinking like that and to take action on that. But again, there's still some action that your team or your staff or the customer is going to have to take on that. But planning that idea, getting them to start thinking about that and getting them to ask that question is a great first step to take in this process. All right, let's take a look here at the next one, our departure life cycle. So the guest has come, they've had a great stay, they're in the departure process now, and we want to start off by a thank you and a satisfaction survey. So thank you for staying with us. It's not goodbye, it's see you later. In the meantime, tell us about your stay. So you can do a satisfaction survey here. You can do a 5-star review request here. All great opportunities to be able to use this to start the process, one, of learning from our guests, learning from our customer, right? You could use Net Promoter Score here if that's how you do satisfaction or how you measure success, lots of different options. But all of that comes together in this messaging. And then the ask for the 5-star review. So I would probably space that one a little bit later. So that thank you email, satisfaction survey, and then ideally have a 5-star review request at a later date. And then probably after that, but all pretty quickly. And you can combine some of these, but this guest has just stayed with you. They're more likely to engage in these type of email campaigns, but then have a rebooking offer. Hey, we miss you. Book with us again and save X, or book with us again and get a free room upgrade, or book with us again and get an early check-in or a late checkout. Like this type of incentive to say, okay, book in this 48-hour window and you get this special thing with your stay next time. So all great opportunities. If you don't include some offer in there, there's no urgency, right? The offer is what creates the urgency and gets them to rebook with you at that moment. So some great quick touches in the guest departure to be able to start setting them up. One, to learn from the guests and their experience as part of our core value of getting better every day. Hopefully you all have that same core value in your business. But then also the 5-star review request, which helps you get found more online and be able to charge higher rates, and then that rebooking offer. All right, and the last one here is our rebooking life cycle. And we look at this in a couple different ways, right? Guest experience, learning from our guests, and monetization. And the rebooking life cycle is a great opportunity, another great opportunity for that monetization part of rebooking. And here we have an OTA book direct offer. So being able to filter if someone came in on an OTA and then message to only those people, our OTA book direct offer, right? We don't want to message to someone who booked direct a book direct offer because that doesn't necessarily make sense to them. That's all they know, they book direct, but very relevant to someone who booked on an OTA or an online travel agent, if you're not familiar with that OTA acronym, like a Expedia or a Booking.com or an Orbitz, online travel agents. Then anniversary of booking or anniversary of stay, or both of those. Those are two individual dates, right? Anniversary of booking. Hey, on this day last year, you booked with us and we'd love to see you again. or on this day last year, you were staying with us. Where in the world do you find yourself today? And can you come back and stay with us again? So those are two individual messages there, or can be two individual messages, but great opportunities. And then the birthday or anniversary offer as well. Now, some systems already have this built in. Some property management systems already have this built in. Some do not. But in most cases, people aren't actually gathering this information. So you can automate the gathering of this information and just tell people in a confirmation email, hey, we send out a birthday and anniversary offer. If you're interested in getting that from us, click here to fill that information out. And they can actually go add that to their contact record in our system. So some great opportunities there for the birthday and anniversary offer. Again, give people another reason to come back. I mentioned my wife and I are taking an anniversary overnighter, this coming weekend as we go celebrate our anniversary, and we're excited to be able to do that. So great opportunity for people to be able to travel, those birthday and anniversary offers. So a lot going on there, a lot of opportunities to really think about, okay, what's going on with our guests and how can we market to them more intelligently? Right message, right guest, right time. So my question is, are you ready for the guest lifecycle automation? Are you looking to increase your guest anticipation and in satisfaction? Are you looking to drive more revenue in that anticipation stage, drive more 5-star reviews, rebook more past guests, rebook OTA guests directly? I will tell you, of all the things that we've done at Q4 launch, maybe other than a website, because everybody needs a website, I would say that everybody I know in the hospitality industry needs this product. And I don't say that lightly, because not every product we have, not every service we provide does everyone need. But as I think about it, and I think about who can benefit from this, everyone in the industry can benefit from this, because we all have guests coming through our door, and we all have an opportunity to increase their anticipation and satisfaction. And in doing that, we're going to drive more revenue from them pre-stay and increasing the value of each booking, but they're also going to come back more often, as well as help us reach other guests by leaving us great reviews. So I think everybody can benefit from this. To help you get up and running, we know it's challenging financial times right now with COVID and everything else going on. We have actually slashed the fees for this in an introductory offer just for our loyal customers and loyal followers. So whichever of those two categories you're in, whether you're a customer or a follower of ours, we've slashed our content. And if you think about this, it's a lot, right? There's a lot of software to set up. There's a lot of content. We write all of your content for you. It's a totally turnkey solution. We design your emails. Our design team does. We write your emails. We set it all up. We set up the form for your website. A lot of work to get this set up. And we're basing this around 10 automation emails. So we've identified 14 different ones. We know you'll have some custom ideas of your own. So that number can certainly increase, but we base this around the concept that, maybe 10 is kind of an average number our average customer is going to want to do. So that's what we've based this math around. So based on 10 automation emails, we've cut the setup fee in half from what we originally planned at a $1,000 setup fee to a $500 setup fee. And we've taken our monthly fee, which again, based on the 10 automation emails, from $500 a month to $350 a month. Now in the future, there's going to probably be some per unit or per room or per guest pricing in this, but we're trying to make it uber simple for people to get started. Flat fee, $500 one-time setup fee, probably take us 2-3 weeks to be able to get you live and get you launched, and then a flat monthly fee of $350 a month. And I guarantee you will recoup that investment with guests coming through your door, increasing the value of each guest and increasing the guests who book with you more often. So some great opportunities to help grow your business and increase your guest satisfaction at what we think is a really reasonable price point based on the value we expect that it's going to deliver for our customers. So just to make this easy for us, we've actually put together a poll for you today. And if you're interested in this, we're going to launch a poll. If you're interested in our guest lifecycle product and want us to get in touch with you, simply click yes on the poll that's launching on your screen right now. If you're not interested in this, either you don't think this is going to work in your business or whatever else, just simply click no and we won't follow up with you on it. No big deal. Just helps us understand how can we allocate our time and who can we reach out to about this. We're going to send you some more information on it just because you registered for it today. So we're going to send that information to everybody, but specifically to follow up with people. If you want that information, just simply click yes, please get in touch, or no thanks, and we won't follow up accordingly. So we can get a few more people to vote in that poll. Simply click yes or no. We don't care which of those you click. It just helps us understand if you want us to follow up and get you more information or not. that would be great. And then we're going to jump over and we're going to get to some Q&A as well. So as you think about this, as you have questions, maybe you have questions about this, everybody would benefit, I'm sure, and I would benefit from hearing your questions as well. So drop those questions in the chat panel and we will get those questions answered for you here momentarily. So we're going to close out this poll. Simply click yes, please get in touch if you're interested in our guest lifecycle automation, or no thanks, we're not. And if you do click no thanks, would love if you'd send me an email. Just send me an email and say why. Like, help me understand, why aren't you interested, and what might we be able to do to make this a better fit for you? As I mentioned, this is a brand new product launch for us. So we definitely want to understand how we can help you get the information you need to be successful with this, and what might we be able to do different with this based on how we could make, what might we be able to do differently to make it more successful for you. So all very helpful things. All right, so let's close this out and see if we have any questions in our chat panel. All right, give me just a minute to pull our chat panel up and get these questions answered. Cost seems high coming out of a time of COVID and everything else going on. Absolutely, yeah, we understand that, and that this could be a time, a difficult time to be able to do this, and we're trying to make that available by helping out from a cost perspective. And another comment, I think I could do this myself via software. Absolutely. I mean, most things in marketing you could technically do yourself. You could build your own website, you could do your own email campaigns. There's not a lot we do that no one could do on their own. It's that we do it with a higher level of efficiency and a higher level of results. You know, I could, well, that's a bad analogy, but yes, there are ways you could find the software, you could build your own, API integration to be able to feed that data back and forth. Like, yes, you could technically do this all on your own, but I think you'd spend a lot more and have a lot more time invested to be able to do that. What we provide is a proven solution, proven software solution, as well as the manpower of creating all this content. But certainly, understand it may not be the best fit or the right fit for everybody, and there are people that would rather, you know, invest a bunch of time to try to figure out how to do it on their own. Question from Nicole: how customizable are the emails? The emails are 100% customizable. We'll work with you. Our content team will work with you to write them unique to you and your brand, but then they're absolutely customizable. And have you done any beta tests? Yes, absolutely. We have done beta tests with this. We've actually been using marketing automation in our platform and our system for years. This is really an extension of marketing automation into guest lifecycle automation. But we've done beta tests of this as well. So certainly wouldn't be launching it to marketplace without having done a lot of testing and many different things to get us to this point. As I mentioned, we've been working on this for a while. So. Awesome. Well, not a ton of questions here today, which is great. Hopefully this has been pretty straightforward and easy to understand, and we've covered all the bases for you. But if you do have any follow-up questions, please get in touch with us. You all have my contact information. We would love to talk to you about this and address that. I did have a question about the down the road costs. I'm not sure about the down the road costs. I mean, it's a flat monthly fee. We build it for you. We support it for you. Set everything up, take care of everything. So there aren't any down the road costs other than the monthly fee that we've talked about. So that would be all that you need to be thinking about or worried about there. That would all be taken care of. Oh, and comment, did you mention a per booking cost? No, there's no per booking cost. What I'm saying is for customers who sign up in the future, the pricing model will probably be different. It will probably be per unit pricing, so that larger customers are actually going to pay quite a bit more for this in the future, but we're having flat fee pricing for everybody to be able to get them up and running more quickly. Understanding that the more units you have, the more rooms you have, whatever, the more automations you're going to be running through the system. So in the future, pricing will be different, but those who sign up on our introductory pricing will lock that pricing in, and as pricing changes, they won't be exposed to that as well. So great question. Hopefully that clarifies that for you and gets all your questions answered. If you have any other follow-up questions, please do get in touch with us, and we look forward to connecting with you all soon and following up on how guest lifecycle automation might be able to help you accomplish those goals that are laid out there on the screen for you. Thanks everybody, and have a great rest of your day.